Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Simple Stories Saturdays, and I'm using the Simple Stories range Harvest Market. Now I have used some of this before but I've still got quite a lot left, so I thought this would be perfect. I'll tell you a bit more about the two photos in a moment. I'm just trying to figure out what papers to use in the background. I do think the leafy one is possibly a better colour match, but I think there isn't many opportunities I'm going to get to use the pumpkins, so I think that the pumpkins is the one that I finally go for. There's too many nice ones to choose from, but I think the pumpkins win in the end. I love that little tag there that says pumpkins, and I've popped out in the tray there some bits and pieces from the range that I think would work perfectly with the two photos that I'm using. Both photos are 3 by 4 inches. So they're covering a little bit of the background there, but I'm aiming to do a cluster either side and get the title in below. So I'm just going to have a look what I've got that would work. The bunting looks really nice, brings in lots of colours that are on the background pumpkins, and I've also got the 6 by 8 pad, so I'm going to bring in some of the papers from that have quite dense patterns. So I don't want anything with too much space in between, because I'm actually going to do some die cutting from those. So I will be coming back to those in just a moment. So I'm just looking at what colours would work. I really like that yellow spotty one. There's another yellow one there that would work. That blue, I'm thinking of using that for the title, but I wasn't sure about the wood grain. It's hard to know straight away. I love the orange. I think I'll use a bit of that maybe, and the wood grain. And I'm just having a flick through what's left in the pad. I like the blue, but I also quite like the purple on the other side of that. So I'm going to be getting up to a little bit of die cutting shortly. There's also a nice pink with little hearts on, and I think I'm going to use that to back the photos to help them pop. So I've got some little leaves there that I've cut. They're metal dies, but I've also put some of the bigger pieces of paper through my silhouette and cut a few leaf shapes from that as well. So even though there's pumpkins are a big feature on this, I decided just to go with the autumnal feel as well. So I'll be using lots of die cut leaves. So I'm just going to back the photos with the pink paper. I realised that because I printed them 3 by 4, I couldn't get them both on the same paper. I did think about turning the heart sideways. You can't barely see them when I've cut it, but actually I decided, hey, I've got 2 sheets, so I'll bring in the other one. Didn't like the checkered pink as much. I just felt it didn't help the photos pop, which is what I actually wanted the background layer for in the first place. So I'm going to stay with this paper that I've chosen. So while I start to do that, I will tell you a little bit more about these photographs. My daughter came home from the supermarket one day over half term with 2 large pumpkins in a supermarket carrier bag, and she told me that she'd seen something online that she would like to try out, and it was a pumpkin head photo shoot. And you know when you get you do a double take, and I'm like, what did she just say? Oh no, she wanted to wear a pumpkin on her head. Okay. So she showed me a few pictures online just to give me an idea of what she was actually talking about. And the more we chatted about it, the more we thought this was hilarious. So this actually meant that we needed to cut the base off the pumpkins. Notice the we. Guess who ended up helping? And actually then scrape all the insides out from the bottom. And then cut the features. But actually you don't realise how big a hole you need to put your head through. Or maybe you do, maybe you realise how big your head is, but we haven't. So there was a few trial and errors, and it's quite claustrophobic feeling, if I'm honest. And actually, you also don't want the bits in your hair. So underneath that, I'm sorry to spoil the illusion, she's actually wearing a shower cap as well. She'll kill me for telling you. But so it ended up being a good hour or so of fun actually getting them ready. And then she took them with her partner to the park, and a tripod and the camera, getting funny looks from dog walkers and all sorts of people. In fact, some dogs really took offence and ended up barking at them, which I wish I'd been there to see that, really. But so we've ended up with some cracking photos, and these are 2 of them. So going back to the layout, I've stuck the paper at the top. I've got completely sidetracked. I'm going to gather the leaves either side, on the right of the photo and then on the left of around the little card that says pumpkins. I'm going to have the leaves at the bottom. I'm going to put like a flower cluster from the die cuts on top of that, and then I'm going to add a phrase on the right, and I'm going to add an actual pumpkin on the left. I must have done a pumpkin layout before because there's very few pumpkins left in the ephemera or the foam sheets, so I must have used them before. But it's fine. I think the leafy outdoors goes really well. So I like the way this is coming together now. I can't help but look at this layout without making me snigger. But hey, maybe you had to be there to see it. But there is more to the story, which I'll get to in a moment. So I'm just having a look. So the bigger leaves, as I said, are cut on a silhouette, but the other ones are cut with the metal dies you can see there on the right. Unfortunately, I store my metal dies like that. I have no clue, now the packaging is gone, who the actual manufacturer was, but actually you can get loads of similar online. So I'm really liking the way that's going, but now I want to make sure I can fit my journaling and my title in. I like this wheelbarrow, but I don't really want it, but I like the pumpkins in the back, and I'm going to tuck them in above the journaling at the bottom. I've got some metal dies, and out of this checker blue paper I cut my title. So the title was chosen by my daughter, so it's Gorgeous. I thought that was quite a good play on words, and I don't know if you can see the paper there. I've actually lined up the dies when I've cut them out the paper, which means that when they're in place the checks will actually follow across. So I've stuck all that down off camera. I'm just going to have a little look now, see if there's anything else that I want to add in. There's a couple of foam leaves I think that I add on top, and I think I use one of these metal like stick-on brads on the top there, in orange of course, but I actually think there's enough going on. There's enough with the pattern paper at the top. Obviously the title is big and also patterned, but I think it just goes with the fun theme of the whole layout. I keep changing the colour leaves. Isn't it funny how it's the little things that get you bothered? So anyway, after my daughter took all these photos, she went away for a few days and I coaxed my husband into wearing them. And I too have a couple of pumpkin head photos. I'm not going to show you those today, but they may appear on a layout in the future. But so everyone that thought these photos of the pumpkins were superimposed, they were not. They actually got their head in a pumpkin. But boy, those pumpkins went mouldy a couple of days later. I think having them on your head and breathing on the inside is possibly not the best way to look after a pumpkin. But I have to say, the fun has been hilarious. So I've just brought in some thick white acrylic paint there, and I'm adding a little bit of water to thin it down. And I'm just going to add a few splats. They're not very dark in the long run. I just thought it might break up the orange cardstock a little bit. And just over the die cuts, I think it just adds another, like a bit of a lift to the die cuts, particularly some of the plainer ones. I'm just going to go in and add, that was a bit of a splat, so I've just made it a little bit rounder. And I'm just tapping the paintbrush just to get some nice small droplets. As you see, I've covered my photographs. I don't want to get paint on those. Goodness me, I don't want to spoil those pumpkins. And I'm just going to add a little sprinkle over the top of the title. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this Simple Stories Saturdays video. Please hop around all my colleagues and see what ranges they are using. We're here once a month, so do check out all the old videos. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, give this layout a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you here again real soon. Bye for now.